You want to skip that one?
What's that?
You go skip this one.
Well, if we have time, we'll get to it. But
what?
If we have time, we'll get to it. But I'll just mention it.
No, I mean, do you want to skip the agenda introduction or whatever? You can still cover it a little bit.
We can work through it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's quite full. That's very full. Yeah, I'm expecting about 5 people here, but you know.
I know. Hey guys, thanks for coming. I know it's one of the last days of the conference, and it's still early in the day after all the parties last night, right?
I know, right? Everybody's still hanging out.
I'm Matt Jones. I work at Worldwide Technology. I'm a solutions architect there. Most of my work is around doing proof of concepts for customers. I do a lot of benchmarking, and so I used to work with this gentleman here.
All right, so my name's Chen, with VMware for about 12 years. Joined Broadcom last year, apparently, and Matt and I have been working together, on vSAN stuff, performance stuff, customer stuff. So we can have originally we actually have a 45-minute session, right?
We did in 2020, right?
Yeah,
during the COVID years. So
now we just have 25 minutes to speak up everything. Yeah.
So we're gonna move quickly. I will say that at the end of our presentation, we've included some extra stuff. So if we don't get to it, we've got some examples of benchmarking to kind of get you guys started. If you guys, if we don't hit that, you can download that later in the slides. So let me see if this works. So kind of the agenda for today: know your environment, diving deep, and then the VMware and FIO examples here. So to start,
you skip my one.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, third one. Yeah, exactly. So run HCIBench with HCIBench and VMware for FIO stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So the first thing is know your environment. So how many people have experience with benchmarking here? So roughly half, right? And so the first part about this is critical, because how do you know if you're spending millions of dollars on new equipment, new servers, right? It's like, I want new equipment for our company. These new Dell servers, they're going to be amazing. Well, that's what the vendor tells you, but once you get them in, they don't work properly, or they don't fit that need that you guys need for them. And a lot of that comes from just knowing your environment. And so getting into that, so some great opportunities to kind of learn what your environment is. Number one is an application, Live Optics. It's put out by Dell. Highly recommend going on and checking this out. What it does is it allows you to download an agent. It essentially scans your environment for an extended period of time. You can set it up for like a 24-hour period, as I think is the shortest amount of time, up to a couple weeks. I think it's maybe 2 weeks, I think. And so what you get out of this is you get some great information as far as what your workloads look like, what your block size, what your read-write ratios, all things that you can then take and put in for VMware, FIO, and the HCIBench platform that Chen's going to be covering soon. So another great place to go to find information in your environment is actually talk to your application teams. I know that's not always fun. Same thing with the storage teams, but it makes a lot of sense, right? Because a lot of times as VMware administrators, we don't always have a good understanding of what the applications are running on top. So go talk to those guys. Find out if it's a backup application, you're going to be doing a lot of writes. You're going to be doing a lot of large writes. If you're you might be doing some video. That'll be different. So depending on what the applications do within your environment will change kind of what you're going to want to do for your benchmark testing. The last thing here is the storage teams. A lot of the big storage arrays have really good information as far as block size, read-write ratios. Again, if you're here, it's the same thing. Those are important things to understand, is what your workload looks like, because then I can take that information and then I can turn it into some good benchmark tests. Because once you get that base benchmark test, anything in the future, you can then run those same tests against new gear, new hardware, and that lets you make, in my opinion, a better business decision. So this kind of goes into more information about what you're testing for. So I know a lot of customers are like, how many IOPS can I get out of a new system? What's the latency is going to be? But that's not always the best judge of, of that new system. So a lot of times, instead of just the IOPS or throughput and the latency, it comes to scalability. So if I add more servers to an environment, does it scale linearly, or does it fluctuate when I get to 6 servers as opposed to 10 servers, right? That's good information to have. Stability. So how stable is it? Like if I run in a long test, do I get the same results, for the entire test, or, does it change based on the length of time that I run? Chen and I have done tests for a couple different vendors, and one of the vendors tests for like 2 minutes, like a 2-minute time period. You remember that?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not realistic because it scales up so quick and it looks really good. But like if they ran that for an extended period of time, it's, it does not look the same as what happens there. So, and then the last thing is cost efficiency. So you might get high IOPS here, but you might be paying a lot of money for those IOPS. Is that what you truly need? If you benchmark your environment and you're looking for the next set of gear to put in there, you might not need to purchase this level of gear when the next tier down might be sufficient for what you're trying to do. So now we're going to start diving deep with Chen.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Sorry, my throat sounds a bit weird.
You hear me okay? Yes, do. All right, just probably like this way. Let's just keep that. So for example, I'm gonna introduce HCIBench again here. I'm not sure how many of you know that this little tool. Hands up. Nobody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, X. Okay, cool. So that's why I'm saying introducing. For someone you already know, again, right? So what is that? So I started my vSAN career around 2014. And my manager essentially asking me to, hey, do some bake-off testing against different vendor, right? And you vSAN kick them out. So then essentially I do a automation tool, for just benchmarking testing. At the beginning, I'm using the VMbench. My methodology is pretty easy. Just deploy a bunch of the dummy VM, put a VMbench on top of it, and run testing, right? And then we collect results and let's see what's the aggregated results look like. But it's starting from about 2015, and today is 2024 and 9 years, and we're evolving HCIBench, year by year, version by version. And you can see right now it's not only for vSAN. Okay, it was designed for vSAN originally, but right now it can use for all kind of storage, VCF, vSphere, VMFS, and NFS, iSCSI, Fiber Channel, whatever you want, right? And so for now, also we're kind of building FIO. For some customers, they don't really like VMbench, or they don't want to just download VMbench from Oracle. I get it. So we're essentially we have FIO built in, and you don't have to do anything by yourself. Essentially, it's already there for every single the worker VM. If you're looking at the process, it's quite easy, right? If it's a single button, and you be able to just deploy the VM, testing and reporting, and do the analyze, just one button click for you, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to deploy VM yourself. You don't have to just deploy FIO. You don't have to just come up with the the parameter file. You don't have to run testing. You don't have to calculate the time, and you don't have to just grab them. So everything's automated. And where is it? At the beginning, we're essentially published it on the VMware Flink site, and due to acquisition, we just deprecated the Flink site, and now we moved it to GitHub. And after moving to GitHub, so at the beginning, I was thinking, hey, maybe just find some place for people to download easy. But now I'm thinking, hey, let's just open source it, because people can see what's exactly over there. Because we have a lot of customers think, oh, HCIBench is bad because it's provided by VMware. You guys are just brag yourself, for vSAN. Actually, it's not. So essentially, it's using FIO or VMbench. This HCIBench is just automation tool, just help you as a harness, right? Help you to do end to end. So we open source it. You can just take a look at the code. What we're doing over there, are we just literally just favoring vSAN? We're not. So, and also you'll be able to contribute your code, contribute your idea, and you can also go to the GitHub and to provide your feature request, or as well as your just your frustration as well. So,
Chen, so one of the things that I've experienced before as a partner is a lot of our customers that come to us and want proof of concept work, is one of their main arguments is that I want something that's independent and not something that's like from VMware, right? This tool is from VMware, but the underlying, the HCIBench is just a wrapper for FIO and for VDBench, which are not VMware tools. So not, like
it's automation.
It's automation, right? So it's just a wrapper on it. So if you do have that argument, I think it's important to know and critical to understand that it's, while the wrapper is a VMware piece, it's automated around the, the base testing tool. So.
Yep. If you have phone, you can just scan the QR code and you just lead you over there, and you don't have to remember any URL. Anyway, so what's new? It's going to be interesting because most of you probably don't know HCIBench before, so it's a bit awkward to talk about what's new. But in short, HCIBench is it's easy for vSAN tester, right? If you have vSAN, we have some sort of button called easy run, right? If you do easy run, it's going to detect your vSAN environment automatically. You don't have to specify number of VM, number of VMDK, what kind of profile to choose. It's all good. It's essentially just automatically configured, automatically detected, and essentially be able to get you the maximum potential IOPS or throughput, for a cluster. So you'll be able to aware, okay, this is my cluster be able to get, let's say, 2 million IOPS with 4K, or 1 million IOPS with 16K, something like that, right? But now for the evolving of easy run, I'm deciding, hey, we should probably not just for vSAN customer, because some customer also on Vivo or other storage, they want to try that, easy button, right? So you don't want to scratch my head like, hey, how I should configure my workload and configure my VM. That's why I essentially expand support for, the other storage. So it's not detecting storage. I have such formula like, 2 VM per host and a couple of VMDK per VM. And essentially you'll be able to select a couple of options for the easy run. Then you just choose what to do. Then you have the latency threshold. This is something I'd like to introduce. Like I just mentioned, our goal for performance testing is not only about, hey, maximum IOPS or throughput, right? Sometimes we look at, for example, you talk to a performance team, your application team, let's say Cassandra, Kafka, whatever. So they probably can talk to you, hey, I need my latency always under 5 milliseconds, right? I don't care, how many IOPS are driven or how much throughput are driven, but I do care about latency. So latency threshold here is essentially a new feature. I'm just putting in the easy run. So when you're doing easy run, you should be able to do hey, I want to see I have low latency threshold. So for example, I have sub-millisecond latency threshold when I'm running like a small block size, or 3 million latency threshold for large block size. Or you can have the different tolerance. We have 3 tolerance level. You can set it low, set it medium, set it high, or you can just unthrottle it. It's essentially just give you the maximum IOPS or throughput without just the limiting latency. Right? This is a new feature I'm putting on easy run. It's on GitHub as well. And something I'd like to talk about is the vSAN debug mode. Some of the testing. How many of you actually testing vSAN, by the way? Just give me your hand. Oh, nobody. Okay.
One back there.
Okay. All right, I probably spend very few minutes on it. So vSAN debug mode is that when you're testing vSAN using HCIBench, once you turn it on, it's going to just collect those, support bundle analytic data automatically from the host after each testing. The beauty of this one is you probably know support bundle, right? All of you? Some of you? Okay. So the pain of collecting support bundle, right? It's about 5 GB, 10 GB for a couple of days, whatever. And you're going to find a place to upload to VMware, the FTP side for, the support team to look at. So the beauty for vSAN debug mode, essentially the support bundle, for every single test case, it's just about 2 MB, 5 MB. So it's easy. You can just attach that to email and send it over to the field or to to VMware support. Hey, help me take a look. They can just use the support bundle, generate it into the Grafana or the Grafana chart, and you can see what's going wrong with your data with your vSAN. So let me just double click on the easy run enhancement here real quick. So previously we do not have this drop down stuff. Once you turn down easy run, essentially you're gonna hide everything about your workload configuration, like how many VM to configure. You'll not be able to just create the profile yourself. But now, we essentially add this drop down list. Like I mentioned, we have the different latency threshold. Be able to use it for you, low latency threshold, medium, and high. As for each of them, we have the manual to talk about, hey, what's the latency threshold it is. And we're not talking about the average latency threshold. We're talking about 95th percentile, so which means you're gonna have fewer jitters. You can, if you need your environment testing be more stable than just getting the maximum IOPS, you can just definitely choose the latency threshold. But here in that, you can also choose the maximum IOPS or throughput, just like original Easy Run does, right? Essentially, it's not limiting your latency. It just gives you the best possible IOPS or throughput you should possibly get from your testing perspective. And from the profile perspective, originally we have just 4 profile listed, 4K, 8K, 256, 400, 100% write, as well as the 4K 100% read and 4K 7030. But now essentially we just added 2 more, and we give them different names. So for 4K, 8K, essentially we give them like general purpose workload, right? And also if you guys doing storage, you probably already know the 4 corner, right? It's like when every time you got storage, you probably want to see, hey, what's the random read, random write, sequential read, sequential write. So it's right now easy run be able to allow you to choose, hey, if you try 4 corner or try general purpose, essentially just select them and just configure the parameter file automatically for you. So this is about what's the general purpose workload look like, and what's the 4 corner workload look like. So in total we have 6. 2 for general purpose, 4 corner for 4. General purpose with just 4K, 7030, and 8K 5050. And the 4 corner just sequential read, sequential write, random read, random write. That's about it. Okay.
So one thing. How many people have seen hero numbers from like storage vendors, right? Most of the time they're sitting at a 4K workload, right? It's like a hero number would usually be like 4K 100% reads, because that should be the fastest for the storage system. So this is what makes it easy to be able to do, kind of get those hero numbers for whatever system you're testing against for yourself to kind of validate, hey, this is what the storage vendor is telling me is that hero number, and here's that number that I'm getting from my, my performance test. Do those match up? And if they don't, it may be, a good question of do I have something different in my networking? Do I have something different in my environment that they've tested with? And it's a good opportunity to have those discussions. But
yeah, and also if you choose different profile, I mean, you're gonna you remember what you selected, right? Either select maximum IOPS or throughput, or select the latency threshold. So whatever profile is selected, the option you selected earlier, the latency threshold also will be applied. Okay, so essentially, HCIBench is gonna generate the file parameter file automatically for you using the latency threshold. Essentially, this is the parameter I'm talking about. This is actually the magic behind. When you're choosing the different latency threshold, in fact, it's just ask FIO to have this parameter being set in. IO latency target in microseconds. If you know FIO a little bit well, and you probably know starting from 330, this version, essentially they introduced this new feature. As a customer, you'll be able to specify this latency target and in your environment, just give you the ability to test within the 95th percentile latency threshold, what kind of IOPS or throughput you should be able to generate. So, and the magic behind for the FIO essentially is automatically control the number of threads, right? Testing concurrently against each of the VMDK disk, and be able to adjust latency. So it's not guaranteed. It's just try its best. Okay. So for example, you have a junky storage and you're trying to get a sub-millisecond with sub-millisecond. It's probably impossible. So it's just try its best, and H1 best, and but still cannot get it. Okay, that's it. So you probably know you got a junky storage. Okay. All right. 1 second. Yeah, still a little bit about the vCenter debug mode, and you need to brag a little bit about it. Especially for the support bundle, it's a small size. Just it automatically collect that for you. You don't have to worry about go to vCenter, click this, click that, to collect information. Once if you're testing on vCenter, you just collect the very small size of it. Just 2 megabyte. And as I said, you can just send it over using email directly. You don't have to find the FTP, whatever. It's gonna be quick. Streamline the process of debugging of your vCenter environment. And also we have the VM key stats collection. So originally I thought it's probably just it's not useful for customer because they probably don't care about what's happening within the the ESXi, the CPU usage for each role, each process. But yesterday I talked to some folks from AMD, and it's actually very useful for them. And so they are the experts, so they definitely can look at the flame graph and to check what's happening, from the CPU perspective. From for example, some process you have very high CPU utilization, you might figuring out, oh, this process is a troublemaker. It's making the system slow. Okay. So this is a new easy run results look like. Essentially, I'm using the choosing a medium latency threshold as the example. You can see I'm choosing a medium latency. Then this is I believe this is a small block size, and you can see the 95th percentile latency is just around the 3 millisecond or 2 millisecond, right? So it's controlled very well. And essentially, this number giving you the idea like, hey, if my system under 3 milliseconds, what's the best possible IOPS I should be able to get? Okay, this is a you can use the latency threshold, you'll be able to get the numbers with a certain latency. For vSAN debug mode, if you turn it on, you will have a little link here. You can just copy paste into your browser. You're gonna see the beautiful grafana and about the component within vSAN and what's going wrong with vSAN. And if you're a vSAN expert, you can take a look. If you're not, it's okay. Talk to your Broadcom field team, to take a look, and also they can just possibly figure out what's going on if you don't want to bother file SR or something like that. So this is the Grafana I'm just talking about, right? So you have the link, you copy paste, and you can see something like that. And we have multiple selections for you. And if you know the component name like LSOM, DOM, component manager, things like that, vSAN. If you know something about it, you can just take a look and see what's happening. See at which layer latency was hike up, and or just look at the performance overall.
So one thing I will mention, so this is all part of HCIBench. So once you deploy HCIBench, it has options in there for like when you deploy the VMs, there's options for DHCP. If you don't have DHCP in your environment, it's built into the tool. And then once you've kicked off your tests and you're running, it'll actually come up with a screen that you can click on that actually starts up the Grafana for you. You don't have to do any of the configuration for that. It's all built in and lets you easily see and easily track back after you've run a test. And then the results, it makes it easy to pull the results as well. So
with engineering, they actually see the same graph. So essentially, you have the support bundle pass over to them, and they're using the support bundle generate exact same humbug or whatever the Grafana chart. So they're looking at the same thing as you can see. This is something they're using usually debugging for the environment or for customer. All right, you want to talk a little bit about the VMware stuff?
I think we're right at time. We can leave a minute for a question.
Okay, let's just go for a question. And by the way, I'm hanging around at the Expo VMware booth area. If you know me, okay. I'm booth captain, unfortunately, so you can just come to me if you have any question today. Anytime I should be around there, and you can come to me in person. If you have more questions, but we can take Q&A here.
Yeah.
It's just OVA. It's just OVA. Yes.
Okay, so the question was, how do you deploy HCIBench? And the answer was, it's an OVA download from the GitHub.
Yeah.
It's on the releases page of the GitHub.
That's correct.
Yep.
Can you get the same information out of Iometer?
So the question was, can you get the same information out of Iometer?
What kind of information you want to get?
Iometer is a very old legacy tool.
Of course, I understand.
Is it still used for benchmarking or?
I don't think you're going to get the same information. I don't think you're going to be able to do.
Metrics is the same, right? If you're talking about performance testing, metrics is IOPS, throughput, latency, or 95th percentile latency, standard deviation, things like that. So essentially, there's no much difference. They're just IO generator, yeah. So.
But you can control workloads differently. Like in some of the examples, there's like a curve workload, so you can see as you put more performance on the system, kind of where your IOPS go, where your latencies go. So you can do a lot more. It probably gives you the similar information, but you have to do a lot more work. So I think we're going to wrap up. But again, take a second after this, not only to complete the survey, if you would. I think we got that at the end. But our information's at the end if you want to email us or ask a question. And then feel free to use the examples. I'd love to hear some of the stories about, what you guys are doing with this. So thank you guys.
Thanks for being here for 25 minutes. I mean, yeah, not leaving. All right, thank you.